Hey, what's up guys? John here. The auto loan bubble just popped, and what lenders are doing now is unbelievable. In normal markets, in normal cycles, if someone were to default on their loan, they'd have a certain period in which they could make good on those payments before the car's repossessed. But now what lenders are doing is that lenders are trying to offer a forbearance program to borrowers so that they do not have to repossess that car. Now, why would they do such a thing? Why would they offer a forbearance program? Well, I believe it's because used cars cost 40.5% more last year as gas prices climb. So we're seeing people pay ridiculous prices for automobiles. And if these lenders were to go ahead and foreclose, essentially just take back the car, repossess it, what would happen? They would be stuck with a massive loss as this economy is changing. So the last thing that they want to do is move forward and attempt to repossess millions of vehicles. I believe they're going to try to do this forbearance program. They're going to try to offer some type of assistance. It's not going to work. Just no way is it going to work. Long term. Short term, they might be able to get a little bit of money out of the borrowers. But as gas prices continue to soar and the economy continues to change, they're going to have to take back these cars. And as they do that, what I believe is going to happen is there's going to be so many cars available for purchase, and there's not going to be the same amount of buyers available to purchase these vehicles. What's going to happen? Prices are going to come down in a very, very big way. It's going to be a huge opportunity. For example, look at this G-Wagon. A lot of people would say, the G-Wagon is not entry level. Last couple of years, anyone making $150,000, $200,000 a year was looking at a G-Wagon. 17 miles a gallon is 17 miles per gallon in a G-Wagon, right? So if you were, 2 years ago paying $3, $3.25 a gallon, now you live in the city and city gas is $6.50 or $6. That's a pretty substantial jump. A pretty substantial jump, meaning you're spending about 50 cents per every mile that you drive, right? And if we continue with problems like what we're seeing here, this is all breaking news that just came out 20 minutes ago, 55 minutes ago. We could start to see more sanctions, more problems. We could see more issues coming for this economy and definitely to the gas pumps. And so as all this unfolds, the big question is who's going to be able to afford gas if it hits, let's say, 75 to 90 cents a gallon within a G-Wagon? That's the big question. I don't think a lot of people. Escalade, same thing. These big heavy-duty trucks, the same thing. People are going to start downsizing, and they're going to downsize to something that's more affordable, easier to insure, something that is going to get them from point A to point B at a budget that is affordable, right? And so as this happens, these cars, right now, people are spending $100,000 over sticker for a G-Wagon. You think about how crazy that is. Cars are probably $150,000 car. People are spending $250,000, $275,000 to get into a G-Wagon, and then to spend an insane amount in just gas money, right? It's going to come down, these luxury cars. So if you're thinking about getting a nice car, I'd give it 6 months. I'd give it 8 months, because you're going to start to see these vehicles be on sale and huge opportunities are coming. Here's what they're saying. Subprime car defaults are rising. In March, 8.5% of subprime borrowers defaulted on their car loans, according to Equifax. That's the second highest total on record. The Wall Street Journal reported consumers with low credit scores are falling behind on payments for car loans, personal loans, and credit cards, a sign that the healthiest consumer lending environment on record in the U.S. is coming to an end. Some Americans saw their savings improve during the first year of the pandemic. Unemployment spiked, but government stimulus payments and short-lived child tax credits created new financial breathing room for those who remained employed. As a result, Equifax said fewer Americans have subprime credit scores below 600 today than in 2020. By November, car loans were easy to get as they had been before the pandemic began, but amid worries about a recession, subprime borrowers are starting to fall behind on their payments. Because remember, these are rising payments. As interest rates continue to rise, so will a lot of these debt commitments, consumer debts, consumer loans, auto loans, all these different things are going to get more and more and more burdensome. And then you couple that in with rising food prices, right? Car loan and lease delinquencies hit a record in February. Equifax said with 8.5% of borrowers 60 days or more behind on payments. The total dropped significantly, or slightly, for March, the most recent month for which data is available. But gas prices began their current spike this month, rising alarm that fewer Americans will be able to keep up with their payments. Inflation concerns led the Federal Reserve to enact larger interest rate increases in 22 years earlier this month. Each 1 point increase in interest rates raises the average monthly car payment by about 3%, right? So we're gonna see that really start to come together. This is going to be a massive, massive bubble. $1.46 trillion, $1.46 trillion in outstanding auto loans. Gen Z and millennials default on auto loans at a far greater rate than before the pandemic. Young Americans' finances have started to buckling under the weight of car loans. One more worry to contend with is the precarious economic environment. Gen Z and millennials today have auto loan delinquency rates that are significantly higher than the pandemic levels, according to new data from the credit reporting agency TransUnion. Gen Z, which includes those born in 1995 and after, has past due rates of 2.21% compared to 1.75% before the pandemic. That's significant. It's about a 25% increase. Millennials, those born between 1980 and 1994, have fallen behind on car payments 2.14% compared with 1.66% before the pandemic. The data stands against the backdrop of near all-time highs for automobile costs. Listen to this, the average automobile cost, new car, $46,000. $46,000, just a bit off the record of $47,000 in January. The Cox Automotive Moody's Analytics Vehicle Affordability Index hit its worst mark on record in April, showing the number of median weeks of income needed to purchase the average new vehicle now stands at almost 41 weeks, nearly 1 year's worth of pay from a downward revised 40.2 weeks in March. New vehicles affordability continues to be much worse now than it was a year ago, when prices were notably lower and incentives were higher, Cox said in a news release. The estimate numbers of weeks of median household income necessary to purchase an average new vehicle in April was up about 18% from last year. Amid those changes, the total volume of auto loans has dropped in the past 3 months of 2021. According to TransUnion, the number of loans originated dropped by 3% to 6.5 million from the same period last year. That may be satisfactory enough for the Federal Reserve to conclude the financial conditions have tightened as hoped for. In the meantime, TransUnion said creditors appear to be responding to changing conditions by offering various types of forbearance to borrowers. So this is what's going to happen. This is where we're headed. It's going to be very, very fascinating to see how this unfolds as lenders start to tighten up their lending requirements. So there's going to be less lenders available to issue loans because they're going to see the writing on the wall, see these defaults, see that consumer spending is pulling back, people have less money, job growth is not there, and opportunities are not there. They're going to say, you know what, we don't know how bad this economy is really going to get. So with that being said, we're going to pull back on spending and we're going to try to cut our losses with as many of these borrowers as possible. That's why it is so important right now to pay attention to this. If you want a good car, you want a great car, a nice car, wait 6 months, wait 8 months, wait till prices come down. You're looking to buy a great real estate deal. If this is happening in the auto market, we're seeing 20% of all home sellers reducing their prices, interest rates are going up, and people are getting more concerned as the stock market pulls back, there's going to be opportunity in the real estate space. If you need help with your credit, you want to really get a great real estate investment, you want to make money online, cashnow.video. Subscribe here. Also subscribe to my second YouTube channel. It's going to be a podcast and interactive show this upcoming week, as well as Insta, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter. Everything's in the banner. Catch you guys in the next video.